Hello, welcome to another edition of Take Time Thursday. My name is Janelle Cooper. I'm an educator at the Smithsonian's Anacostia Community Museum. Welcome, everyone. Today's session is Can't is Not in My Vocabulary, Overcoming Obstacles to Better Health. So if you've ever desired to make a change in your overall health, but lack motivation, then I'm glad you joined us on today, where we will hear from Keishona Cobb as she shares her weight loss journey and how she overcame a major health scare. She will also share, or we will actually talk about some old remedies that we've heard from our elders, things that really do work, natural herbs, healing practices that we can use every day, stuff that we have at home. And Ms. Cobb has developed a natural remedy that has helped her and her family achieve their weight loss goals and attain a healthier lifestyle. Keishona works as a dental assistant at Prince Frederick Dental in Prince Frederick, Maryland. What makes her a great presenter for today's Take Time Thursday is her story of faith and how it has brought her from tribulation to triumph. Born in Pennsylvania, but now residing in Lusby, Maryland, Keishona has a passion for music and the arts as they are both universal. Ms. Cobb believes that losing weight and making the necessary changes in your life for better health is 60% mental, 25% faith, and 15% action. This is a formula that has proven itself to be a recipe for good living. Take Time Thursdays with the Anacostia Community Museum gives participants a chance to take time for wellness, health, and creativity with artists, thought leaders, performers, wellness practitioners, and others. We're hoping that people will take just a 30-minute break with us every other week from 2:30 to 3 p.m. for your mind, body, and spirit. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Keishona Cobb. Keishona?
Hi, how
Hi.
you doing?
Fine. Thank you so much for joining us today and your willingness to share your story so that it can help someone else. Listen, listeners, I have an interesting story as to how she got here. She actually is a dental assistant in my dentist's office, and we had a power punch conversation. And her story just grabbed my attention, and I haven't forgotten that near detail. And this was probably about maybe 3 months
On
ago.
3 months ago, yeah.
Yeah. And I said, "Oh my God, Keishona, you have to, as a young person, you have to come on and share your story. I think it's fascinating, and I know I need a little help. I need to get this weight off some kind of way. So if I can be inspired at work, while at home, at church, or wherever I go, from friends, family, I'll take it any way I can get it. But I really, really was drawn to your story, and I really think that you have something powerful to share. Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Yes, as you mentioned earlier, I am from Pennsylvania and now reside in Lusby, Maryland. I am, of course, a dentist assistant. I'm a very outgoing person. I love to experience new things and learn about new things, whether it be activity wise or people, just receiving new information. I am a older sister to a younger brother. Um, I'm a very family orientated person. I'm all about family. I'm all about sticking together in order to make anything work. That's right.
Gotcha. So you told me a little bit about your health scare. Can you share that with our audience today?
Yes, absolutely. I believe in the age of, well, one, for about the majority of my life, I've always had a little struggle with weight. It's always been up and down, and it kind of depends somewhat on the foods that I ate, and even if, because as you're younger, you never really pay attention to what you eat, because we're teenagers, we're kids, we're younger, we don't think about that. So I, at the age of 22, I was at my heaviest, and when I say my heaviest, it was legit. I was 320 pounds at the age of 22. I had very, very trouble with my hip at the time. And working in fast food, you got to keep a pace. It affected my work performance. It messed up a lot of everyday things that I could do that everyone could do as a normal person. I had troubles breathing. It was hard to do simple tasks, but for some reason in my mind, I thought everything was okay. I was in denial. I didn't think anything was wrong. I have always been fit. I thought I could bounce back immediately, but little did I know it was a lot more, much worse than I thought it would be at the time. And it didn't fully hit me until later on.
So what happened? Wasn't there, you went to the doctor, you wasn't feeling yourself.
Mhm.
Um, can you tell us a little bit about that and what the doctor shared with you and how that news kind of put a fire under you to get some things going with your health? Talk about that. Like what were the symptoms that you were experiencing and to make you go to the hospital and check things out?
Yes, I had a doctor's appointment as a checkup, and I had explained to her at a very scary time, like a week before my appointment, that I went to sleep and my mother was alarmed and scared because apparently I stopped breathing in my sleep. I was so overweight that when I would lay down to sleep, all the weight that I was carrying in my body wise, it would kind of lay flat
And choke
onto, yes,
and constrict your airways. So
yes,
you had sleep apnea.
yes, for a
Okay.
very long time. And I had also told her of I couldn't walk straight and normal because of my hip. I've never had hip problems out of all my life until I got that heavy. And she explained to me, well, Miss Cobb, looking at your x-rays and everything, your weight is causing your hip to split. Where your
Whoa.
hip is supposed to be a certain way, mine was going one of the left side of my hip was turning this way.
Whoa. I need to go get checked out, see what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know that my hips, I mean, they may be affected. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're making me want to go get some
Yes.
things checked out.
I
That,
didn't
well,
real.
that's what this
Yeah.
program seeks to do.
Yeah.
When you got back home, what were you thinking as a 22-year-old? To hear, like most 22-year-olds don't have problems with their hips. Like
Yeah.
it usually comes much later in life.
Hmm.
So what were you thinking at what kind of headspace were you in when you got back home? And how long did it take to really sink in?
I would say it took me about a good 3.5 weeks for it to sink in because I was in denial. I thought she was not serious. I felt very ashamed and I felt down. I felt very upset with myself that I allowed myself to get to that point. And it wasn't until I tried to do a fitness routine that is my everyday thing that I have no problem completing. It wasn't until I tried that and kind of my hip gave out to the point where my left leg, the numbness traveled down and I
Mm.
couldn't do, I was walking with a limp. And that really just, I broke down afterwards, started crying. Went through a depression. And that's when I realized I don't want to live the rest of my life with these type of issues. And I'm so young, I shouldn't have to worry about this type of thing at this age. And for once, I wanted to also sleep without worrying about, am I going to wake up the next morning? Am I going to stop sleeping? Or am I going to have to struggle to gasp for breath while I sleep? Because that happens a
Mm.
lot. It took me a good 3.5 weeks that I was such in denial. And then I decided to try to change.
I'm
No.
so glad you made that decision for yourself because I'm here to tell you, when you get older, it gets a lot worse.
Yeah.
I'm here to
And
tell you, but somebody who's been dragging it around for several
Mhm.
decades now, from a little girl up until now, it does get worse. Like you feel like you're invincible because you don't have any issues. I didn't have diabetes. I don't have any of that. But then stuff just all comes, and it's like, oh my God, like my knees are hurting.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm having issues with my stomach and digestive system, and it's just like, what am I doing to myself? And so this conversation is, I don't know if this is selfish having you on, but I want to have you call me selfish because it's working. But, um,
Mhm.
so okay, let's fast forward to what what did you start researching and that you feel that would work for you? Like, I'm sure that you probably tried a ton of weight loss programs and
Yes.
nothing didn't stick. So tell me about your researching and all the things that you were looking for and looking into, and what led you to put together this magic formula that
Yes.
has helped you for your life and your brother's life. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So as you know, I've tried a lot of weight loss treatments, programs like the 30-day thing or whatever. And what I've noticed
Mm,
about all of that is like it didn't when you have a really busy schedule, when do you have the time to really fit a meal in? And when do you really have the time to take even a minute for yourself to drink and consume anything that will give you the nutrients that you're supposed to do? When are you going
mhm.
to have to find the time to exercise and whatnot? When are you going to find time to get your fluids in and stay hydrated? So, what I figured out for me is I had a thing where I always drunk a lot of lemon water. That's where it started. I would drink it in the morning, drink it throughout my day, drink it before I sleep that night.
Why the lemon? Because I'm one of those people who don't like lemon in my water. Like, I just like regular water. Like, I don't like lemon. Is there a reason? Is it for taste or is there a benefit to it?
There's a benefit to it. Lemon is a natural detox by itself. When you do real organic lemon juice, like squeeze it without the extra sugar that they add into the stores, when you drink and consume that, it helps throughout your day when you're drinking it. It helps to do like teeny flushes. Like I call it power flushes, is what it does, the lemon water. And
Hmm.
then I come to think, you know, these aren't working. And it's like you can do meal plans and whatnot, but what does that really do? I don't have the time to do any serious meals when I'm constantly on the go. So I
So you
came up,
made a total switch
yes,
to your diet. And did you go to the plant-based model? Is
I
that what?
did.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
tell us
did
about that and how hard was that to like go
uh,
from burgers and fries
to
to plant-based?
plant based.
Like, that's a real leap.
That's a
So
big leap.
tell us how hard that was, and did you do it baby steps or did you just do like cut everything off and went cold turkey?
Oh,
How
I
how
did. I
you
did
did
baby
the cold
steps.
turkey?
Oh no,
Oh, you
baby
did the baby
steps.
steps. Okay, okay.
Yes.
See, I'm
At
scared.
first,
I feel like
yeah,
if I did it, I'd have to go cold turkey
turkey.
because those baby steps, I think I would get stuck on a step.
Yeah,
I'd
you
be
don't
like,
want to. You don't
I'm
want
just
to
being
do.
real.
Yeah, you don't want to completely do cold turkey. You put your body in shock.
Ah,
So
okay,
what I did at the time, I was working as a live-in nanny, and the
okay.
whole family were
Plant-based.
plant-based, and I was curious about the lifestyle. I was curious about how can you still eat pizza and not have like the meats. I love meats. And then they're like, oh, but you can have your favorite foods, but a healthier version of it. So living with them for about a good 2 years, um, they slowly helped me to change my food palate, saying, okay, so you have fried chicken, let's try grilled. Okay, you had grilled, let's try baked. And let's try to expand the from 1 day to 2 days to a month to a week and switch it out. Let's detox all the sugary stuff out. And then let me introduce you to your kale salads, your different types of vegetables, and how you can create to each dish. Now, what surprises me, I didn't realize how addicted I was to sugar until I detoxed it 100% out.
Okay.
It is so important that people really need to detox the sugar. We don't think and stop to realize how addicted we are to sugar. We
I
really
know
don't.
I am. I mean, every day I'm normally working at home. So Thursday's the only day I'm in the office. But when I do work, it seems like right about 3 o'clock, I gotta have something sweet. Like
Yeah,
what do I'm like tripping out. I'm like, what do I even have? Because I'm
yeah.
like, and I don't really buy it for myself. I really kind of buy it for my boyfriend, but I'm like, what do you got in this cabinet
Hmm.
that I can have? And I'm looking for it at 3, and it's every day like clockwork, 3 o'clock. And sometimes it'll get me at night to like right around 10.
Hmm.
But that sugar, it just calls you. And it's just like, I
Yes.
need to get this out of my system. Because like
Yeah.
sugar's the last thing I need at my age.
Hmm.
I have a family history, diabetes in my family. I don't
Yeah.
want to get it. Um, yeah. So it's important to detox all of that
Yes.
out.
You got to
And
take
then
that
those
all out.
cravings and everything kind of
That,
dissipate.
yeah, once you get the sugar out, I promise you those cravings are gone. That's all that is your
So
body fighting withdrawals. Yeah.
you created this magic formula
Yes,
that
I did.
and
I
so what's in it?
Well, I can tell you the flavors.
Okay.
I made a lemon and then I made a berry. And how I did that,
It's a drink? Is it droplets? Is it a
yes, it
ooh,
is a drink like juice.
okay.
I Over the years, I changed and perfected it, but in the beginning, it is a juice.
Okay.
So I was curious about, okay, so since I know what these types of things do to help the body, for example, cayenne pepper actually does a lot with, because believe it or not, you burn calories in your sleep. Even when you're sleeping, you're burning calories throughout the day, just little itty bits of cayenne pepper by consuming just like maybe just a pinch of that. And as it goes throughout your day, it helps to kind of
It helps
keep,
your metabolism.
yes, helps your metabolism. So
Mm-hmm.
I made the lemon one. I put together that. Now, I didn't test this on no one but myself first. And even to this very day, I'll still make them, not how they were the first time, but due to more research I've done, I perfected it to the point where it's not just a juice, I can make it also into a smoothie as a meal replacement. So I tested that out for about a good 4 months for me. I got good results because it helped to curb my appetite. And in the middle of curbing it, I was able to go long periods of time without those cravings and take that time to prepare healthier meals and whatnot. And most of the time, when you're drinking something of like a meal curber or at the grocery store, you'll get those little packets. You'll feel this ache in your stomach sometimes when you drink it, like you're not hungry, but you feel like you're kind of starving. With the ones I made, you don't get that problem.
We
And
have a
I
question in the chat. Wanda asks, how did you detox the sugar? Like, what did you use to get it out of your system?
detox the sugar. I used greens. So to,
Greens?
yes, greens, like legit, you use kale, you use cabbage, watercress, the real organic greens that you eat every day. I took those greens with a certain amount of fruit and some flax seeds, and I
And
blended
lemon.
it, yes, and that lemon too, with my lemon water, with the drink, not my personal drink, but the ones you can actually make it at home. It'll help to cleanse it all out. And in the middle of doing all of that, you have to eat healthy during the process of your cleanse because you don't want it to backfire on you. You want to be able, you got to cut out fried foods completely. You got to challenge yourself.
No, I'm just
Yes,
playing.
cut
I'm
out,
just playing.
cut out fried food. Cut that stuff out.
Oh my God, I live with a country boy. Like, how is that gonna
Yeah,
work?
y'all gotta make
Like,
it work. Cut out the fried foods. I detoxed for a solid 2 weeks. All it takes is 2 weeks to get all that sugar out. And when I tell you, it wasn't until the fourth day I had serious withdrawals of wanting something sugary. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she said, that's because your body has hit that state where it's trying so hard to grasp onto something sweet. That's when those cravings hit like never before. And she
so it
said,
takes
you're
about 4 days before you can not
feeling it.
crave it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
until
Okay.
you start to feel it. And then it's not until that eighth day, you don't feel like anything. You don't feel no type of cravings or anything. And I was like, wow, I can actually start over. Once all the sugar's out, you yourself can now start over at how much sugar you're consuming throughout the day, throughout the month,
Gotcha.
throughout the year or so.
So
So it
here's
helped me out.
the meaty questions. How
Yeah.
much weight did you lose?
I currently weigh 189, and it
Okay.
took me about a good, I would say total from I started to now, it took me a good less than 4 years. But also got to keep in mind, I quit multiple times within this process.
Okay, gotcha.
I did not straight stick to it like any other normal person. It got hard and I gave up. But then I had to remind myself, I want to, I want to be active. I want to not be out of breath when I go running and jogging.
Or
I
walk
do
up
it
a
all the
flight
time
of
now.
steps without huffing and puffing. And
Yeah,
so you gave some to your brother
I did.
who also was obese,
Yes.
and he lost how much weight? You don't have to tell us how much he weighed or the
Hmm.
weighs now, but how much weight did he end up losing
He
when
ended
you
up,
started sharing this
oh
formula?
yeah, he ended up losing over 35 pounds. Now,
Okay.
at the time, he was,
You ain't got to
uh,
tell us his weight
yeah,
because we're recording this.
yeah,
You don't have to put him out there like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. I know about
you
there.
know, but it helped him and he's
Yeah,
able to shed some
yeah.
unwanted pounds.
He was a
Okay,
teenager
great.
at
So
the
we're
time.
going to
Yeah.
move into a different phase. We're almost to close and we have roughly 8 minutes.
Hmm.
Let's talk about your faith and how you believe that God is um, kind of willing you into this and
Yeah.
kind of orchestrating your life and bringing people in your path
Yeah.
to help you along the way.
Yes.
So you told me how you worked in a fast food place,
Yes.
and there was it a woman?
Yes.
A
Right.
woman doctor who was coming in, and I guess she observed your work ethics, and she had a conversation to you. How did that go? Tell us a little bit about that. I think this
Well,
is
I
so
had,
amazing.
yes, how that went. Of course, she came in one day and speaking to her, saying hi, hello. I kind of recognized her from around, it's a small county here. So you kind of
It
see
is.
faces, but you don't know exactly sometimes who they are. So I noticed throughout the 2 weeks of working, she's been coming there every day. She'll buy something, of course, but she'll watch me, see me operate with the other employees, how I manage the shift and everything. And then after a while, I actually got injured on one of my runs outside of work. So I was home and then I got a message from my social media account from her saying, hey, I know this may seem strange, but do you have a moment where we can talk? I have an opportunity that I'd like to talk to you about. I'm like, okay. So I gave her a call and I spoke with her. She said, hi, I was wondering, are you a shift leader? I said, no, I'm not. She's like, you got everything under control. Your leadership skills are pretty amazing. I said, yeah. And then she said, have you ever considered going into dentistry? I said, um, a couple times it's crossed, but I never had the chance to fully explore it. She said, well, I would like to, talk to you a little bit just to see where you are in your current space right now in life. So after work, I went into the office straight out of work. My shirt had donut stains on it. Uniform smelled
Oh,
like
that's right. You
straight.
worked at Dunkin'
Yes.
Donuts.
I
Okay.
yeah, I smelled like
Gotcha.
I came straight out of a donut factory. Coming in, seeing her, just talking to her
In the
about,
office?
yeah,
In her
in this
office.
current office of
Okay.
and all of the goals that I possibly want to achieve, how many years I've worked with fast food and do I enjoy it? And she said, you're very bright. You seem to have that drive in you. I'm like, thank you. I got the chance to meet everyone here. They were very friendly. I thought, me personally, I thought that it was just a little sit down conversation just to talk. I'm like, okay, maybe she just wants to see where I'm at. Who knows? Or anything like that. I personally didn't think too much of it. I really didn't. Um, a- After it was over, the conversation, I head home. It's not until 5 minutes later I get a phone call from her saying, just want to let you know the doctors love you, the staff really enjoys your personality, and we would like to offer you a job.
That's amazing. That doesn't happen to people every day.
No, it does not. I
And
was,
they trained you on the job.
they
Like,
trained me on the job. I had zero experience. I literally just had my work anniversary, September 28th. Um, I cried on the phone because it was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted something different. And I felt like this was it. That was what I was looking for.
I'm so grateful that, you had that opportunity and
Hmm.
that somebody saw something special in you and gave you a chance. And sometimes, I feel like when we make it, it seems like what's wrong with like reaching back and pulling somebody with you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that me fi me mentality.
Hmm.
That's just I wasn't raised that way. I don't understand that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I have mine. Now you got to get yours. No, 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 no. We got to figure out how to help each other.
Yes.
So I'm doubling back. Want to say God is good. This is
Thank you.
how He wants us to be with each other.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's all we have to do is reach out. Thank you, Wanda.
Thank
Now,
you.
Wanda wanted me to Tiana wanted me to double back to, okay, let's talk about this juice and smoothie mix. Like, what's in this stuff?
Okay.
People really want to know, like, what
And
kind of herbs that you put in it, because people, we can make our own things at home that can
yes,
help us. And so, what is it? What do we need to concoct for ourselves that will
contact
help
for
us?
yourself.
Yes,
To
the
kind of
smoothie, the juice, like,
to
what's
kind
in
of
it?
start you out a little bit with the smoothie part. It's very similar ingredients to what I put in my juice. Um, you want to use pineapple, and I cannot express the importance enough of flax seeds. Organic flax seeds, what they do, you know how when you eat a meal, you get that full feeling? That's what flax seeds do. You're full without the fatness of the meats that you're eating. You want to
Okay.
always include organic flax seeds. You want to include kale. You want to keep that in mind. Kale is very important. You want to include spinach.
Spinach.
When I do smoothies, I always use the two main ones that I use are kale and spinach. Believe it or not, they mix very well. You want to use that, get your flax seeds. Fruit wise, now if you're going to do berries, you got to keep in mind you got to have a balance. If you're going to do berries because it's very acidic, you got to have a sweet. I personally don't use sweetener. I use a organic syrup to give it that sweetness or organic honey because it's natural organic honey. You can also, I've had people um, say, what about Splenda? Splenda's okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you do need something sweet because you can't handle the
Doesn't it have
natural taste,
saccharin in it? Doesn't it have that stuff in it or whatever?
like yeah,
That saccharin or some of that stuff is not good. Those artificial sweeteners are not good.
yeah. The one sweetener that I recommend is called
Stevia?
stevia.
Yeah,
Stevia in the
stevia.
raw is the best sweetener to go with to put in for drinks, smoothies, food,
Well,
anything.
what about the sweetness from just like mere sweet pineapples, bananas,
Yes,
things like that? Apples,
pineapples.
apples is a good
Yes,
sweetener. Um, okay, so
yes.
yeah. So any herbs that you put in there, any drops of like anything,
Mentally,
turmeric or any kind of anything else that you
yes.
may incorporate along the way, maybe not an everyday regime, but maybe once a week or twice a week that you would like add to it to
Add
give
to it. Yes.
is it important to find out what our makeup is? Like
Yes.
what do we
That's very
need?
important.
Like
Yes.
are we low in magnesium? Do we need,
Yes. That
you
plays a
know,
big
so
part.
so
You
we need
have
to
to
get a
know.
full metabolic workup.
Yes, you have to know that
To,
because my fast metabolism might not match yours. You got to
right,
know what your body is
right.
because people seem to think if you eat less, you'll lose the weight. It's the opposite. You need to eat more so your metabolism can burn it off. If you eat less, you pick the weight up
Gotcha.
times 10. Yes.
Well, I need to get that full
Yeah.
metabolic workup. I had one done in 2019, and I don't think since COVID hit, I haven't done any of that. So I need to stay on top of that. All right, let me see. We're going down in the messages. Okay, so other people have to go back to work. It's 3 o'clock. Thank you for sharing. This is fantastic. Um, oh, are you on YouTube? Somebody asked.
I do not have a YouTube channel. I have been recommended that I should get one. I've thought about it.
So when you hear it more than once, you got to
Yes,
get one.
I meant, yeah, I got to get one now.
This is another way of God saying, okay, this is another
Yeah.
opportunity for you. Get your story out there because I feel like, people are inspired, by hearing other people's testimonies,
Mhm.
and I feel like this is what is needed, that people need to hear other people overcoming because everybody doesn't have a positive story in their ear.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have a positive voice in their ear. And so sometimes people have to go looking for these voices.
Hmm.
But start a platform, start a conversation, get on Instagram and start talking about your journey. Don't underestimate the power of your own story.
Hmm.
That's kind of what this museum stands for, is giving people a chance to share their stories. Hence, Take Time Thursday. So listen, we have run out of time, but I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be on the program to share a part of your journey to a better you. You have inspired me. I'm hoping someone else is inspired. And I want everybody to have a very great afternoon and evening. Be safe out there, wear your masks, do your part, and have a wonderful upcoming weekend. And we will see you next time for Take Time Thursday. Have a good one, Kiana, and thanks again.
Have a good one. Thank you
All
for
right.
having
Bye
me.
now, everybody.